like we've obviously discussed at the start of the podcast, is it's come to the point where anybody can go on and win it. And obviously, if you probably look at managers, obviously like Pep, Klopp, Mourinho, they're probably thinking if we manage to get one gem in the window, that could basically push them on and separate them from the rest. So I think I wouldn't be. I think I see where you're coming from, but I wouldn't be surprised as well if they were just to go out and spend the money. But
No, I agree with that. It could just be that one signing, like that one striker or something that could make a difference. I mean, if you look at Chelsea, they could do it like probably 3 or 4 signings to get back to challenge at the moment.
And look how much they've spent already as well. I feel like trusting youth would have been a better policy than signing all of these players so far.
100%, because I think you look at the players that they've got. Like you look at a player like Mason Mount, that Billy Gilmore as well. I think they're the players that have pretty much stepped up for them.
Even Hudson-Odoi scoring twice in the last 2 Premier League games that he's been playing.
And I think last season they were talking about him going to Bayern Munich, which made 0 sense.
And with players like Tomori, who's just been frozen out, and Abraham's just playing sparing games.
He's another one.
It's crap to see because all of us rate Fikayo Tomori from like our 5-a-side, 6-a-side, what we picked under 23s. And I don't see why his like 5th choice centre back. Even with Tammy Abraham, the fact that Werner's not been scoring and he still starts against Man City. Okay, you want to break and play on the counter attack, but Tammy Abraham's just as quick. He would have finished a few of those chances that Werner had.
I think Tomori would walk into any of the Premier League clubs, probably bar like probably even Liverpool could do with him that, but I think he'll almost walk into all the clubs and he'll do a good job. So it makes no sense why Lampard's almost like freezing him out of the club.
Because last season they did so well as well, the youngsters. Go ahead, Salim.
Sorry, I was going to say, now when you look at it, it looks like they didn't even have any sort of like transfer plan in place. They just signed all right, Havertz is a big name, Werner's a big name, Ziyech is a big. They just went and bought. It doesn't look like there was a plan in place saying like, we need to sort of address it or join people that play our kind of football, because it looks like they've gone backwards, if forwards, if anything.
If anything,
Giroud should be starting. If anything,
100%.
Definitely.
I think the way did like look at him when he played in the Champions League and he scored against Sevilla, and I think they played against Leeds the game after and he scored for them as well. I think with Lampard and with Chelsea, I think as soon as Giroud has like a bit of an off game, they just think we need to take this guy to the team. It don't make sense. You look at Timo Werner. I think the only reason why this guy is still getting starts is because obviously he's a Lampard signing and the amount of money they spent on him.
It's like a German Fernando Torres, really, from what we can see at the moment. It's
more
horrible.
Like a German Scott Hogan. Really know all about him.
But no, it's not great to see, because you see all of these players play at their former clubs and for their countries, and they were fantastic. But it's like Space Jam, that basketball film, when the players just lose all of their powers. When you're looking at Havertz and Ziyech we saw at Ajax, and he was fantastic.
Ziyech probably wouldn't give as much stick to, because obviously he's been injured in and out. He hasn't really been given a run of games, and I think it was probably a bit unfair on him to be thrown in against Man City. And obviously because you could tell from minute one, even when Ziyech had the ball, he just didn't see himself. But I think you look at them overall, it's pretty much their youngsters which are keeping the flow going, and obviously Giroud as well. I think Giroud should be starting almost every game for them, if I'm honest. There's a reason why he's starting in that French team, and that French team won the World Cup. That pretty much says everything.
I agree with that. And the other thing is, like, it's like we said that day, we never want to see a signing do badly. For whichever team they play for, we don't want to see anyone 100%. Do badly. But you just look at like Havertz as well, like what £80 million they spent, and he's not done it. He probably needs more time and stuff, but I don't think his best form's going to come under Lampard. Because they're gonna have to get him to play. They're gonna, no matter what, somebody's gonna have to get him to play.
I think the worst thing for players like that is when you're young and you've done well abroad. There's a lot of pressure on you. Plus, when you come into a team like Chelsea, who now basically everyone's relying on you. You're the biggest transfer for them in the whole summer, and everyone's expecting him from basically game one to just hit the ground running. And I don't think you can always expect that from a player